Of America. Admiral, great to have you with us today. President Trump,
I'm glad to be here.
President Trump taking a line from that old Rolling Stones song, "Time is on my side." Here's what he told CNBC earlier today. Listen here.
I want to make a good deal. I'm not going to be rushed. I have all the time in the world. I want to make not a good deal. I want to make a great deal. I don't want to do this, go through this.
Right.
So we've done a great job, and I don't want to be rushed by people that are really treasonous.
All right. So when it comes to who can wait out who do you think has got the trump card in that?
I think that we own the initiative. We are the ones who get to decide what the next move will be. I think what you're seeing right now from the Iranian regime is dysfunction between, for example, the foreign ministry, who had said earlier at the end of last week that the strait is open, and then IRGC Navy said, no, it's not. And so there's dysfunction and a lack of unity within the Iranian administration right now. And I'd say it's a 50-50 call as to whether or not they'll show up in Islamabad for these negotiations. But we own the initiative, and we have an overwhelming posture of capability as we're bringing a third carrier strike group into the region. This is a very doable military problem. It requires some time. A blockade doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't create effects immediately, but it is a means by which we can pressure the Iranian regime increasingly so.
It would appear for the moment that the Iranian delegation is not headed to Islamabad. They seem to have some overinflated sense of their position in these negotiations. I'm not quite sure where that comes from. I mean, their big trump card is this idea that we're closing the Strait of Hormuz. And I'm trying to wrap my head around the idea, well, how exactly is it that they control the Strait of Hormuz? Their navy's at the bottom of the Arabian Sea and the Persian Gulf, and there's one out in the Indian Ocean on the bottom of the sea. All they've got left is these so-called fast boats that we have plenty of practice with these drug boats off the coast of Venezuela, taking out at full speed. So how is it that President Trump is not saying, what, you own the Strait of Hormuz? No, we own the Strait of Hormuz, and we're going to dictate terms.
Well, we sent a couple of guided missile destroyers through the Strait of Hormuz a little over a week ago. And we wouldn't have sent them in if there were mines or if there were, we know where the threats are. The reason we have allowed, I think, in some way for the Iranians to own the narrative of whether they can close or shut down the Strait of Hormuz or not. Let's be clear about this. It's a matter of risk management. They are capable of sending out little boats and shooting RPGs, remote rocket-propelled grenades. Maybe they've got some drones. Maybe they've got some coastal defense cruise missiles. And that would invite us, that would give us the opportunity to continue to degrade their military capability. So these are solvable military problems that we're dealing with.
Yeah. You know, the Iranians, to a large degree, are, you know, like those fish that blow themselves up to make them look like they're bigger than they actually are. Because listen to what Mohammad Gallup, sorry, who's the Speaker of the Iranian Parliament, said about the days ahead. He said, Trump, by imposing siege and violating the ceasefire, seeks to turn this negotiating table, in his own imagination, into a table of surrender. We do not accept negotiations under the shadow of threats. And in the past 2 weeks, we have prepared to reveal new cards on the battlefield. What new cards?
Well, I think one of the legitimate military targets that we could go after is their infrastructure to be able to communicate amongst themselves. And so therefore, the Iranian regime, by our standards, is irrational. Let's just be honest about that. They don't think the same way that we do. And so it's our job right now to continue to put the pressure on them, in particular through the economic stress that our blockade imposes on them. And it will be, the time is on our side, not on the Iranians.
Yeah.